Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. I am sitting in our new home. Don't worry, a full tour after we're completely moved in will be coming, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Before we get started on these epic mistakes that we made, please like, subscribe, comment below throughout the video. That'd be awesome. That helps our channel. Really appreciate it. The first mistake, big mistake we did, when we went to pick up our rig, we did a walkthrough. Oh, she's so big.
That's what she said.
And then because we had to drive almost 6 hours to get the rig, we stayed overnight in a hotel. But our rig stayed in the bay overnight for us at the dealership. When we went back to pick it up the next morning and hitch up, we were so focused on getting the hitching process correct and walking through that part of it that I did not do a complete walk around and make sure all the doors were shut, that the cabinets were shut inside. When we got to our destination, we had a window that was open in the rain, like the whole way here. Like, thankfully it didn't rain until we got to closer to our destination, but it did rain. And we also started opening the slides and all the doors are doing this. Good thing is we didn't have any stuff in them yet, but it's a lesson learned that, especially as part of my checklist before we take off from any destination campsite, when we button up the rig to leave, I need to make sure those doors are shut. Mistake number 2, we got side cameras and a backup cam installed on the rig for a reason, so that we could see stuff on the sides as we changed lanes and we could back up easier. Let's face it, this is 44 feet long. It's not exactly the easiest thing to back up. And while we got all of that stuff installed, we didn't have the screen to be able to see anything. Well, we were kind of in a little bit of a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. Tony, he's just like, let's just go. I'll drive it without cameras, we'll be okay. We were okay, white knuckling it down the road for 6 hours, hoping that we didn't sideswipe anybody because we didn't know how long we were. You know, we learned very quickly that there's a lot of moron drivers on the road, and we have a new appreciation for truck drivers who have to carry that 50 some feet behind them. I mean, that's mind-boggling to me that they do that every day without cameras. Number 3, okay, this was kind of a big one. I couldn't remember where I put the RV keys.
You're playing with the car keys, Daddy.
But I'm a grown-up. I'm not going to lose them.
Turns out I put them somewhere very safe in my coat pocket, but it got warm on the way down, and so one of the rest stops we stopped at, I took my coat off. And I didn't realize the keys were in my pocket, like I'd forgotten. Mistake number 4, we've been on the road for 6 hours. We got to our campsite and the leveling system wouldn't work. I had to go inside the camper and I had to manually level it first, just to get us to be able to be high enough to unhitch, because we couldn't figure out how to power on the leveling system from the outside, because it was written in the manual, which was on the inside of the rig, inside the desk drawer that we couldn't reach because the slides were shut. And we couldn't get the slides open without the leveler being working. It's chicken and egg situation.
Which come first, the chicken or the egg? How could something so fat and furry come from something so smooth and pearly? Oh, which come first, the chicken or the egg?
So it was rather comical, but once I did finally find the keys and we got into the rig, I was able to manually level it a little bit, and then we did get the jacks down and got it all leveled, and everything was fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything is on fire. But that is a note to self, know how to do the basic stuff and make sure you know that, commit it to memory before you have to do it. Or at least have the manual handy. It's got step-by-step instructions in there. That would have been smart. But I didn't, it didn't even compute that I should probably take that manual book with me. Even though the tech held it up and said, this is the most important book you will ever read.
That's the book you want to do right there. Tells you about everything about this camper.
And also, while we were leveling, I was inside the rig and I forgot to put the steps back up. So we heard a popping sound. Whee! Yeah, this is fun. I don't know if I should.
That sounds scary.
It's like a ride.
Oh.
Should that be? Thankfully, it was just the steps sinking into the mud because it had been raining, so it was super muddy. But if we'd been on a concrete pad or something, or on gravel, that actually could have been a problem. So if you have to use your leveling system from inside the rig, make sure your steps are up. That way you're not gonna break your steps on your first day. Number 5. Now I knew this. So by the time we got to our campsite, we were tired. And with the Schwintek system, because of the way the motors work independently of each other on each side, you have to hold the switch down for 3 to 5 seconds after it stops, just to make sure it fully sets and it fully centers up again. I knew this. I knew it in my head, but for some reason it didn't like make it to the front of my brain where it needed to be or something. And so I forgot to hold that switch down. And let's just say that I panicked a little bit and I'm like, oh crap, I hope I didn't just break our slide. Thankfully, the slide's okay and it's working fine. We've had it in and out a couple times since and it's all good. But that could have been disastrous. We could have had a major issue with our bedroom slide. Okay, this is a fun one and I'm quite certain I'm not alone in this. Mistake number 6. I was putting everything back in. We put the slides in and I was getting ready to put the steps up. I didn't realize that it has a screen door. I don't know why I didn't know this. It didn't dawn on me there's a door there, but I put the steps right through it. The final mistake is a really, really big one. We have our surge protector thingy, but we didn't want to just leave it plugged into shore power because we didn't know when we'd be back to start moving in. So we unplugged the rig itself and we left it plugged into the shore power and we just dropped the wire underneath the rig because, you know, 50 amp cable, just leave it under there. It should stay dry, right? It was raining and it got heavier rain and we were almost all the way back to our home and realized we left a live wire out in the rain. So we hightailed it back and unplugged it from the other side so there's no power or current going through this thing right underneath our rig where it could have sparked and that just would have been very bad. Future Kristen here. So as I was editing this video, I realized I forgot one very crucial mistake that we made, and that was that when we parked in our campsite, we had to actually go across the 2 campsites. And due to the grade of the ground and the fact that we didn't know anything about leveling yet, as far as like using levelers, we had our tires off the ground on one side.
Well, your tires are off the ground on that side.
So I had to go to Lowe's and get some wood and get it cut, get some of those Lego block leveler things and get them underneath the tires so that our rig would not be sitting for an entire month while we're moving the slides in and out. And getting the rig loaded for full-time travel with the tires hanging off the ground by like 3 or 4 inches. So there you have it. That was the biggest mistake that we made and it is featured on the thumbnail for a reason. I hope you enjoyed the huge mistakes lessons that we learned. Stay tuned for more videos as I start working on customizing and we start moving into our new house on wheels. We'll see you in the next video.